Hello, 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 hello. It's me. I'm back after like not streaming for a week. It's been a little bit. Had to sort some stuff out on the, entire having a job side. You know how it goes. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Oh, but work has been picking up. Sort of. Or at least I actually have to do real work now. And attend real meetings for real adults. Hello, Needle Mouse. Hello, Nokia. Stream more, yeah. No, you. How is everyone doing today? Let's get started. Boom, he's done it. Oh, Tim Young go burr. I was about to say, like, how do you know my name? But then I remembered, oh yeah, I just put my name in my profile, huh? And also, it's on my GitHub. It's actually pretty much plastered everywhere. Hello, Stone B. How are you? Long time no see, I guess. Tim Yuan? I don't know who Tim Yuan is. Must be a different person. I'm Tim Yuan. Congrats on configuring Emacs. Proud of you. They grew up so fast. And then, of course, they devolve into degeneracy. I see you've fallen away from Vim. Used to be Insectlaw. Yeah. Insectlaw. I remember you. I guess you got a new account. Must have got banned somewhere. I understand. Or perhaps you just lost your password. That also happens sometimes. Oh, this is not. Oh, what the heck? This is Ruby. Get out of here. I guess if you want to see something cool, check this out. It's not cool at all, but I thought it was neat. So we go to dev. So I incorporated mruby into Godot. It's not actually linked up to. Oh geez, what the heck? It's not actually linked up to any Godot classes, but at the very least, you can do stuff like this. I suppose. Also, I should mention beforehand, I don't know how to write Ruby. I only know the very, very basics of Ruby. But this allows you to do something like this. So you have Ruby, Ruby new. You can load a file, test.ruby, which is this file here, which is in this little space. Not shown in Godot because Godot is dumb and they made a decision not to show any relevant files. Or Emacs? Emacs. I don't know what Emacs stands for actually. Yeah, you say, yeah, I hate Ruby, but I thought it'd be cool, and I was thinking about it. I saw a discussion about Final Fantasy 15, about how they used Ruby as their scripting language, and I was like, you know what? That's true. I remember seeing that in their licenses credits that they use mruby. So I was like, all right, what if we try to use mruby? Of course, nothing shows up, but in the console we see wow, which is in this script. Ruby scripts are just like Python scripts in that you can just run arbitrary code. Then there's hello world, which comes from here, puts hello world. Then we print out the return value of this, which is hello world, and then we print ready. Look at that. But I don't know. I actually don't mind this syntax of Ruby. What I really dislike is the, I guess like this syntax where you do r ruby load string. Hold on. Can't you do, isn't it like for 5 hello test. Can't you do that in Ruby? And that's technically valid, but it's just the most bonkers syntax I've seen. Hello dash. I'm glad you missed me. I was very stressed out for like the past month, so I decided instead of like continuing to burn myself out, because I have a few coping methods in order to keep stress at a manageable level, but for like a month there it just was not working. And so I was starting to combine all my coping methods, and it was just a very bad time. So decided to take a break for a little bit. So yeah, I feel pretty reset. Not quite all the way there yet, but you know. Yeah, def woo. So def woo, this is a function, I guess. It doesn't do anything, but I guess I can do woo. I think this will also work. You're allowed to do this. I believe that's valid as well. I don't remember if this is valid. That's the weird part, I suppose. Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, undefined method. Oh, actually, I guess you do have to define it like this, huh? I forgot. I'm not very good at Ruby. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then we print out this last one. You can see that it's actually a syntax error, I think. Yeah, syntax error, yeah. It's some sort of syntax like that. I don't remember. Oh, thank you. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm still thinking about how to do the bindings though. Or if I just want to keep this as like a random little state machine that you can have on the side. Because I thought it was kind of cool, right? Because you can load in, you see that you load the file in, and then actually it persists. So you can actually call arbitrary functions on it as well from GDScript. But I don't know. Also, how does this syntax work? I have it somewhere. The reference implementation that I was looking at was doing something bonkers like that. So I don't like this. I don't like this, but I can accept it because it's a Ruby thing. Oh no, yeah, it's like this. We can do Ruby load string. It's not 5 times. It's literally 5 times, and then you pass in a block, and then you can do hello test like that, I think. And then in the console, yeah. Look at that. So hello test gives you hello world multiple times. Yeah, there we go. I hate this syntax. This is the syntax I think is super disgusting. Like, what the heck? So 5 is an object, sure. It's the same in Python. Times, so it's like an implicit for loop, and then this is the block that you can pass to it. So I suppose that times actually has a yield parameter inside of it, because yielding in Ruby is not the same as yielding as in Python. You know, there's a bunch of weird things about Ruby. But I guess I can see how this syntax would be more readable to some people. Yeah, for like 5 times I want to do hello test, you know? Something like that. Anyways, we'll get rid of this. And we'll go back to regularly scheduled programming. It's a pun. Because usually programming is what they show you on TV, but actually what I'm showing you is real programming. So what was I doing here? I know that I'm on a different branch. Where is my... Oh, I don't even have a get thing. Into my passphrase. Don't look at my passphrase, everybody. There we go. Give that the old clear. Popper. All right. So this is what we're working with right now, by the way. Yep. Also, this person seems to be following me, which is kind of cool. So they give like all my Godot stuff a star for whatever reason. Which made me giggle. Oh, thank you, thank you. Soon to have my own Netflix comedy special, which is especially poetic considering that Netflix is about to go under. What if the stuff they use on TV is programming? So it's programming about programming? It's programming? Actually, it's a TV program, so the list of what they're showing you is programming, but actually, you know, I've never thought about that. Why is the list of TV shows that they show you called programming? It's because it's a TV program, but it's not the same program as like something that you write. Yeah, 29 issues. Most of them are not bugs. So like this one is just some questions. I should actually close this at some point. One of these days I need to go through these and figure out which ones of these have already been solved. But I did get this here. I think this is good enough to send. Oh, actually I've made some changes. Oh, this is the only change. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and merge this. Yeah, let's git restore. Yeah, let's just go ahead and merge it. Send it. PR is open. I don't understand why some of these people send all of this weird stuff though. Let's pull request. I can't watch my Sonic X anime. Are they making a Sonic anime? You have power-ups up from Vietnam. But damn, practice some programming. It's always time to practice programming. You know, I've rediscovered this site, Exorcism, which is a kind of a weird name for a website. But you can go down different learning tracks. So I was trying to teach myself how Elixir and OCaml, but you can see I've only actually completed like barely any exercises. Because they're tough. Because this is like, it doesn't hold your hand. It's like, here's a problem. Go research the solution. I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know. I don't know any. Like the Ruby ones are easy because Ruby is just, you know, normal person syntax. These three languages have difficult syntax, aka functional, which I'm not very good at. All right, pull request. How do I see the raw code? You don't get GitHub? Are you in a part of the world that doesn't, or like, are you situated out of North Korea and or Iran? Is that why you can't see GitHub? It's a 3D TV show. They've been animated about like in 2003. That's wild. I'm not really a Sonic fan, so I don't really know anything about Sonic. Squash and merge. What the heck? Oh, it's because there's only one commit. Yeah, okay. Squash and merge. And, oh yes, memorize all of those in your walls. Well, I guess that would explain why my neighbors have been so noisy. It wasn't my neighbors. It was you. You've been in my walls, eating all my cereal. I think this is fine, by the way, because all tests are passing. I wish I could move the GitHub workflow back to, I guess, the regular branch instead of me using my own custom build branch, but that's fine. Squash and merge, I guess. Send it. Delete branch, then we'll go here. Hydrate quack quack. All right, give me 1 sec. Git check out master and git pull. Git branch. Delete refactor. It was merged. What are you talking about? All right. Cool, cool, cool. You might also notice that my keyboard might sound a bit different. It's because I broke my other keyboard. Not intentionally, but it just kind of burnt out. I'm not really sure why or how that even happens. But it's not here anymore. I need to get a multimeter and test it. But it it no longer turns on, which makes me very sad. Yeah, something short-circuited, so I'm using a backup keyboard. Which is actually just the same keyboard, but it has a number row. Alright. Actually, let's hydrate now. Remember to drink water, everybody? Yeah, I don't know. What I'm thinking happened is probably... Like, the day before, there was a lightning storm, but I think if, like, lightning... If there was a power surge, it should have also taken my computer out. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is a power surge that fried my keyboard, but I have multiple things plugged into the same, I guess the same motherboard, right? So like I actually have a little macro pad here. And like this is me pressing the macro pad. The macro pad is fine, but the keyboard isn't, so I don't know what's going on. Which is why I said I need to get a multimeter to test it. Yeah, let's see. So this is where we're at, by the way. No. Yeah, reload me. This is where we're at. We have all the stuff, blah, blah. We can do tracking and all that. Look at that, how cool. And yeah. I don't know. There's not too much else to it, I think. This is good enough to get the showreel stuff out, which is on YouTube. And I think it's in my Twitch profile, but I'm not going to bring it up now. Or not my Twitch profile, my YouTube profile, which I think is linked. It might not be. If it's not linked, then you'll just have to go to my Discord to find it. Oh yeah, Bones. Still needs to be finished, but I can leave it like that for now. Props not yet implemented. This stuff is kind of implemented, so we can even bring up new presets. Oh, it breaks. Okay. Trying to assign value of type something to a variable of type model config GD. Really? Did model config change? What the heck? And this is the same, okay. What happened here? So this is not a resource. Oh, it is a resource. Oh, I changed this to be a resource, I forgot. So, I know I had this working at some point. Or did I change this back to be a reference and then I just manually implemented duplicate? I think I might have just manually implemented duplicate. So we should probably do that, I guess. Because duplicating stuff is not the hardest thing in the world. So we'll just make this a reference. Really shouldn't be doing this on this side, but that's fine. And we'll implement duplicate somewhere. Which region is this? Export. I guess we'll just put duplicate up here. Actually, how would you implement this multiple ways? Because yeah, okay, I see how this could be a problem. Well, if we open up presets, this is now going to be not good, because this is no duplicate function. And there's no way to easily duplicate it because we never actually use base config. It's in the name. We always use model config or metadata. So is that why I changed it to be a resource? But then duplication for resources doesn't work how you think it works. I remember that. It's one of the gotcha. Yeah, returning a new resource with the exported members copied. Which is why I hate using resources in Godot. It's like, I don't want these to be exported. These are not public. I guess what I can do is this. Hold on. Oh, wrong key. Model config, new, and then we can just do model config parse dictionary, and then we'll do amcm model config get as dictionary. Yeah, something like that. So it's kind of a weird way of doing it. A little roundabouts, if you will. Make them public? No. Absolutely not. I think making everything public is nice if you can keep everything organized in your head. Unfortunately, that's not how I do things. I struggle with keeping things organized in my head. So like when I was taking like upper level math courses, so like math stats 1, right? I've told this story before, but it's like they only give you 3 sheets of paper, and then after that you need to go up and ask for more, just so that you don't cheat on exams. So I remember like the most sheets of paper I've ever used on an exam was 20 sheets of paper. Because I just wrote everything down. It's like that the meme image of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know what I'm talking about? He's like hair's all frazzled, has the crazy eyes, and he has all the things on the wall with the strings between them. That's kind of me when I'm doing like upper level mathematics. Because it's like, this goes to here. This, we break out every single calculation onto its own sheet. If only because it takes me forever to do every single calculation. Because I get the process, but it's doing the the basic mathematics that always trips me up. Why open source is better? Well, open source doesn't mean public source. It's just source. Open source is source available technically. It's just like how like a lot of phone manufacturers, like they don't provide Android builds anywhere. But if you email them and ask for the build of Android that they're using, they are legally obligated to send you it. But it doesn't mean that they, have to just wave it around, show it off, you know what I'm saying? All right, so no more resources. Resources are dumb. So I think this will work, probably. That I don't know. This seems to make sense to me though. So we do ASDF, save, there's ASDF, and then we are technically on ASDF with everything copied inside of it. Yeah, and then we can do this. Hello. So this should save automatically, and then, yeah, look at that. And then if we go to, I don't have any of my hotkeys, okay. So then we move the model. Like this. Which one are we on? We're on duck, yes. So we move the model and we can go back to main menu. So it should load in like that. But then if we go to presets, load, Yeah, he's done it. Let's go. I accidentally fixed it. I remember this is giving me a lot of trouble. And I was racking my brain on how to make that work. But look at that. How neat. And then we can go back to duck. We can go back to duck. We can go back to ASDF. And this is just loading. I actually don't remember how this is doing stuff. So what is this? We have default runner starting load model for. Oh, it's, yeah. It's because of this loader. Yeah, this is another thing I needed to change, which is this. It's this. This, yes. This logic is super gross. I remember. It's coming back to me. Because it needs to accept a model path or a config path, and from that config path, we can load the model, because the config stores the model path inside of it, yes. But then if you send a model path, we'll look for the default config. Am I thinking about that right? Hold on. So we have two possibilities. You have either you're passed a GLB file, for example, or you're passed a JSON file. And so if it's a GLB, then we can figure out the config file, right? We'll just grab the default, right? Search for default config. And then if that's not possible, then we'll do create new config, right? I don't know why I made that box so small. Create new config. I guess these are the two options. Actually, I got the sizes mixed up. Just excellence. So either create new config or load default config. Something like that, right? If you're past the GLB, but if you're past a JSON file, then you have two options, or you only have one option, right? Which is find model, right? Find model, and then if you find it, then you either load model or load default model if the model is not found, right? So those are the two execution paths, which are completely separate. So this goes, oh, that's not the arrow. It's my arrow. Oh, garbage. So there. Something like that. So if you load a GLB, then we look for the default config for the GLB, and then we try to either load the default config or we create a new configuration for you. If you pass a JSON file, then we try to find the model referenced by the JSON file. If we found it, then we load the model. Otherwise, we load the default model and the configuration associated with that. And then with that, we need to go all the way over here. Sends you there. Something like that, right? I think that makes sense. Making this look a bit nicer. It's beautiful. Put this in the Louvre. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. So to get rid of that. So set up scene, and I remember the runner. Run runner. I think actually you can print out resource or result files, no problem, right? I don't remember about that. Where's my landing screen? I need to check that really quick. So hold on, var res is equal to safely wrap. Okay. Can't you just do this? So this is one of the changes I've made. Yeah. So this is one of the changes I've made, which is to say, this is now a built-in engine singleton safely. Look at that. So safely is a singleton. You should never instantiate it yourself. And then it gives you back result objects. And the result object might contain a safe error object, or it just might be a result. So it's kind of a roundabout system, but it makes it easier for me to reason about the application. Yeah. Like unhandled error, code, int max. Yeah, okay, cool. So my toString method that I defined on each one of these C++ objects is working. So yeah, it makes it easier to figure out what everything is. Nice, which means everywhere that's doing a result toString, I need to change just really quickly. Res toString. Oh, but then that still needs to be toString. Oh, that's right. So maybe I should change my logger. So the logger will accept whatever. And then we can replace all the toStrings there, like that. So here, we can do, this has no type. Something like that. So then you can just pass in whatever object you want. String. So we'll always just string the message using the message's built-in string function. Or if that doesn't work, it'll just give you the default string representation, which is not helpful in the slightest, but that's not really my problem, I guess. And if you try to string a string, then nothing happens. It's basically a no-op. Not really, but it's close enough. Notify is still not implemented, but we're getting around to it. Yeah, so then here we go. Result toString. This should just be results in most instances, but it's hard to verify that. So that's fine. Default runner. How nice. Runner. And then presets. Cool. Okay, cool. That's taken care of. And then also string REPL. Okay, so that's in the REPL, but that's fine. We don't care. Actually, does the REPL still work? Since I think the REPL defines a result object as well, doesn't it? Or maybe it doesn't. Yeah. What is this? Okay, cool. It's actually not a result, it's just, it's not a result object, it's just something that is a result of a function, which is why I called it result. Nice. extension manager. Just call this. That's fine. We'll take this out as well. Anything that's being too strange, I should probably just take that out. Oh, this one definitely needs to be two stringed. Let's see. REPL we don't care about. The disabled file we don't care about. vrmgd. Oh, this one needs to be wrapped as well. Okay, safely. Wrap. There we go. I think you can actually unwrap errors as well without having to do anything fancy. Let me check. Oh, just print me. Print res unwrap error. Something like that. Yeah. So you can directly unwrap an error if you want. Although if it's not an error, you'll get an additional error. Although maybe I should change that in the code to just crash. Because you should never, like, if you ever unwrap something, if you ever unwrap an error, that should be like pause execution. We're in a state that we don't want to be in, right? And then, you know, dump the entire application state to the logs and then be like, you know, please post this. Something happened that shouldn't have happened. Something like that. Oh, and I can take this out as well. Nice. What logo is better? This or this? Oh, geez. It's very large, but I've also zoomed in for some reason. Look at that. Tenshi Emax. Tenshi Max, if you will. You know what you could do? You know what you could do? I'm just kind of seeing it. You could shift this over a bit and use the same E for Tenshi. I think I like this one better though, to be honest. This one looks cleaner. But this one, if you were to shift Tenshi over and maybe move Emacs over a bit so you still have the same kind of design, right? What you could do, where's my snipping tool? Is you move, is this red or is this, what color is this, red? Yeah, so move this over and then use this E to replace this E. Something like that. So you move it over, but then you want to move the entire thing over so you still have the same kind of design, right? So it's still kind of centered, you know what I'm saying? I think that could be kind of cool if you can make it work. But either way, I like the second one better anyways. I like this. This one's cleaner. Although the the sweat droplet's kind of making me freak out. Oh no, you know, give it a try. See if it's nice, if it is aesthetically pleasing or not. Okay. So then we do need to safely wrap this. Safely. Yep. There's your results. Then we have this one, which is also safely wrapped. And then take that out. Nice. And then this one. Just a lot of cleanup. I think I'll do the single one. What's the single one? The single E? I'm glad I could provide a different perspective. That's one of the benefits of collaboration, is that you get lots of different ideas. One of the downsides of collaboration, of course, is that if you have a single vision, the single vision tends to get diluted when you collaborate. But, you know, the plus and minuses to everything. All right, I need to take a lot of this stuff out. Base layout, hold on. I wonder, actually. I don't know if this will work, but so you can yield, but then can I safely wrap this? I've never tried. I should probably check this first. Oh, that's actually kind of confusing. This might be one of the few files where I can't use that pattern, because the return value is unknown. Because we're basically just checking to see if it's okay. I guess we could wrap this. So we could do... the image only. To get the SSH to upload it to GitHub. Well, that's the easy part, right? Just hit it. Yeah, you are on Linux, so it should be a pre-installed util, unless it's not one of the pre-installed utilities on Arch. Yeah, you just hit it with an SSH keygen, keygen.exe type. I think you don't even need to specify a type, but I always specify type RSA because that's the most compatible one. And then after that, I know there's a few other parameters you can pass, but I never remember. What am I doing? What is this? Assigned variable is typed, but the function presetup may yield and return a... interesting. So as SSH is also pre-installed Windows, isn't it? I'm not sure. I usually use git bash. That's one of my first installs on any new Windows install. So I don't know. Like, I know when I was doing a lot of the mruby stuff, because I should point out, when I was writing this, it's called RubyGD. I forgot to change this in the README, but it is an mruby interpreter, but it is more or less compatible with most Ruby code. I left a note for myself. When you're compiling on Windows, you need to be cognizant of which linker you're using, because the GNU linker is also just called linker, I think. And so, because I prefer to do everything in bash, it was using the GNU linker when I should have been using the MSBC linker, etc., etc. So I don't know. I'm not qualified. Not qualified to know. Hello, Arch QB. How are you? Yeah, I was thinking about running this application on really low specs, and I think what you could do, right? So in the main repository, not this one. This one. Also, look at that. We're almost at 300. Oh, baby. So which tag is this? This is the 8.1 tag. Resources, scripts, and I'm assuming that you're starting this via one of these scripts. So you can change the quality via one of these flags. I don't remember, but it's it's in OpenCFace. The trick is to open a PowerShell in SSH. Oh, is it? PowerShell. PowerShell. Do I have SSH? I do have SSH. Well, I don't know if those are Windows SSH tools though. Oh, I don't have which, where. Oh, wait, does PowerShell not have this? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't usually use PowerShell. I'm not a huge fan. All right, cool. I use Windows all that much. I don't use PowerShell all that much. I do prefer Windows though. If only because Windows is kind of my main development target in general. Windows or web. I do have Linux. I have several Linux boxes. I used to have an Arch box that I turned into an OpenBSD box. Not good enough. I try something I don't know. Well, anyways, what you want to do is you want to find, I think, it's one of these. You want to change the model type. I don't remember which model. Yeah. You want to pass a model flag here. So I just use the default model, but I think you will probably want to pass model 0. So just modify this script. It comes with every download. So you just want to add model 0 to this pair, and it should just work. Of course, that is like potato tracking, right? The lowest quality, but you know, if you're trying to run it on a potato, then you get potato tracking. Sounds like a boxer playing around. It is a boxer playing around. When I want to do real stuff, I usually use Debian or Pop! OS, only because I have a Pop! OS computer. Either Debian or Fedora, because my Fedora install is pretty solid. Or at least I'm confident in my Fedora install, I should say. All right. So here, if it's not really a ret, is it? It's more of a result. What am I doing? Change all occurrences. Yeah, and then this is still an error. I'm debugging, so I drive Arch. I hate debugging. I'm more of a set my system up once and then update it just whenever I'm not doing a project, which is almost never, really. Like I think, yeah, I only recently updated my Fedora install from like 29 to 34 about a month ago, and that was a huge pain. And for reference, I think Fedora 37 is out. So I'm still not no, Fedora 37 is not, it's Fedora 36. Yeah, but I'm still not up to date. I'm still 2 versions behind, but at least it's not super painful to update anymore. So my first steps on any, and this is bad practice, by the way, don't do this. My first steps on pretty much any new install is to do disable SE Linux, like an absolute degenerate, which is something you really shouldn't do, but it's such a pain to work around. All right, this is gross, by the way. Don't get it twisted. But there's not really a good way around it either, unfortunately. Yeah. And then we just repeat this for every single step. So instead of doing this, blah, blah. But yeah, disable SE Linux because I am complete mad lad. Don't tell my don't tell my boss I also do that. think I could get into a lot of trouble, but considering that I do most of my work on a Windows VM, and inside of that Windows VM, I do most of my work on a rel VM, and inside of that rel VM, we actually spin up more VMs, which I have to then hop inside. So we're like 4 layers deep of VMs. So, you know, bite me. What are you gonna do? All right, so I'll run this. Okay, yeah, it's weird. It's very strange, but it'll work. So we can zoom it. Yeah, all the controls still work. Yeah, that's just strange though. Can I disable this warning? Like, this is a good warning, but I would like to disable it. I feel like this is something I should probably move to C++ as well, so we can be sure. Or maybe I don't even need to yield. Why am I yielding again? So if we go to, I don't know, presets. I had presets up somewhere. This is the wrong thing. Set up. So returns a result, and then inside of that we yield on the unwrapped value. And then we re-wrap the return value. Okay. So I remember one of these things we do need to yield. Was it model? Was it in model that we yield when we do the setup? Or was it the callbacks? This is gross, but you know, so it goes. I remember, oh yeah, preset, we do need to, yeah, we do need to yield here explicitly. In model, because we cannot, so if you were to do something like this, before the model's loaded, it would break, which is why I had to yield in that pre-setup step. Yeah, something like that. Was it this one though? Yeah, base tree layout. Yeah. It's all coming back to me. I should probably add an explanation though, so I don't have to remember how to do this. This is gross, but do need to for the parents pop up to finish setting up. Sorry, bro, my English is not good. I just listened to. That's no problem. I'm fine just talking to myself. You know, I'm doing a programming thing. People generally refer to as rubber ducking it. So whenever I program, I naturally just kind of mutter to myself, which is, you know, in the workplace, it's looked down upon. But here, it's fine. it's a good fit, more or less. But generally, a lot of time, it doesn't look like I'm getting a ton of work done. But it's mostly because I have a tendency to basically spiral in what's the term I'm searching for? I tend to thinking about it tend to fall down the rabbit hole. That's not it. Me get tilted. To use a gaming term, sometimes I'll get tilted when I'm trying to solve a problem. Yeah, it's not tilted. There's another word. I can't think of it right now, though. But when I say it aloud, it makes me kind of realize that, oh, I've been talking about the same thing for a while now. Maybe I should move on. was one of those things. All right, where does R come from? R. One of these, safely wrap. Continue. Okay, that feels about right. With almost no loss of performance. Yeah. If only because I don't feel bad about the GUI being a bit slow to come up. Now what I need to do is share GUI states between each pop-up window, which is going to be a bit of a problem. But let's also commit this for now. What changes did I make? I made a lot of changes. That's good. So presets work, I guess. They're not... Oh, actually, no. I still need to do default run. I need to fix this part. Almost forgot. This part here. SSH to work. Just gonna add the config to GitHub now. Oh, baby. Are you using a Git UI? I know Git Kraken is pretty popular. Don't know too much about Git Kraken, though. I think the only Git tools I've ever used are the ones, like the one that comes with VS Code. I've used that a few times. You might notice that I have it disabled. Because I don't know. I just feel more comfortable using the bash prompt. I've also written my own Git tool that just wraps libgit. Libgit2, I think. I don't know why I do. It was based off a work implementation. Because at work, they were talking about, our developers need to use Git, but they're not comfortable learning Git. I'm like, wait a minute. What does that mean? Aren't your developers supposed to be like system admins who are doing like all kinds of automation work? Yeah. And they don't know how to use Git? Yeah. Okay, sure. I guess. As long as I get paid to do it, it's not my problem. No Git UIs, I'm just using my terminal. Yeah, see? I don't know how to use any of the UIs. Well, that's not true. I know how to use some of the UIs. And I know that VS Code is kind of nice sometimes when you have a merge conflict. So you can, I guess, compare the head to whatever you're trying to merge, which is nice. I like that feature. Git UIs scare me. Yeah. It's just a different world. It's a different world. Like the only Git UIs that I like to use are the pull request ones. Probably not this one though. I like this, and that's pretty much the only UI I use is to view merge requests or pull request, whatever you want to call them. Oh, I should probably reject this one because I think I fixed this. But I'll get around to it one day. Merging is different. Yeah, merging or all that stuff. Like I like Bitbuckets actually. Bitbuckets pull request UI is really nice. I really do not like GitLabs, and then GitHubs is okay, I guess. But I something about GitLab's pull request, or actually in GitLab they refer to it properly as a merge request. Their merge request UI is kind of terrible compared to Bitbuckets, which is fantastic. And then GitHub, which is just, I don't know, it's good enough, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, this one's okay. Can you actually, I've never tried, can you change this to a unified view? I've never, no, you can't. Okay. Well, or a unified view? Oh, yeah, actually you can. Look at that. Huh. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? I take everything back. GitHub is about as good as Bitbuckets. In terms of the PR UI. Let me see. Model to load path. So pull returns of results. We actually need to wrap this. So when we do the presets stuff, Where's my presets? Presets. It's one of these. New preset, nope. Private functions, probably not. It's in here. So load, reload runner. And then who catches this again? I don't remember. And actually, is this in here twice? No, there's not. Default runner. So we subscribe to this. Reload runner, model to load, but that's not actually a model to load. It's just like initial data, I guess. Maybe I should call this initial data. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So let's go to reload runner. That's fine. Reload runner using this config name. Yep, that makes sense. All good. Get out of here. But then in default runner, model to load. Oh, that's fine, actually. It's model to load, right? Model to load, so it's either you try to load in the actual model or the model config file. Yeah. So we'll try to pull it. Let's safely wrap this. So if it's an error, unable to find a model to load, and then we'll load in the default model path. But actually, this should be the... Oh, no. This is the global default model, but you can actually specify a default model entirely, so it's not always the duck when you first load in. Yeah. That's the intent. So model to load path. So this can be either a config file or not. Model to load, load model. Okay, so it's in load model. I already have this open. Load model. I don't remember why I made this public. But of course, in Python style languages, there is no concept of private public. It's just convention. And then, you know, we're all adults. If you want to use a private function from outside of the class, you can do it. I think even if you use, like there's some libraries to help establish like, okay, like this is a constant value, and then we'll do some checking at runtime to make sure you never change the constant, or we'll make this variable private and we'll do some checking at runtime to make sure that you never access it. You can still totally get around that, in Python at least. In Godot, I'm not so sure, but I know in Python you can like introspect on the bytecode at runtime to access things you shouldn't be able to access. Because it's the concept of, you know, we're all adults here. Okay, so load model. So load model is the problem. Okay, so let's think. So load model does a try load model, but actually what we should be doing here I see. That's a problem. Oh. So we do all the config loading here. And also this returns a result, so I also need to wrap this safely. Some adults cry like a baby. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure. It's kind of a little random, to be sure, but it's not an untrue statement. True, that's true. No, I don't really I guess I don't really cry. Like, if I ever cry, I don't really cry like a baby. It's more of just like tears. My eyes will just leak, but I'll have the same expression on my face. So it kind of freaks some people out. Because it doesn't look like I'm crying. It mostly just looks like I'm really, really mad and throwing a tantrum. No, but it's been a while since I've ever cried like I was like sobbing. Been a long time. Okay, so this is hard. Because this is all config stuff. Maybe I should split this out. So in addition to load model, we also have load config. And actually, why doesn't load model return a result? Where's load model? Yeah, why the heck does this not return a result? I feel like it should be returning a result. Oh, it's because you'll never... Oh, no, you will. I mean, here, this changes the scene immediately. Like, it boots you back out to the landing screen. But this one, you could still have a failure state. Yeah, that's weird. So return safely error. All right, and then we need to go open up the, this is where I wish I had. Actually, I do have another screen. But I want to keep them in sync. Because actually, I do run 4 screens. I have 3 screens, or I guess 3 normal computer screens. One of them, so my main monitor is 4K. It's actually pretty nice, but it's also extremely expensive. Then I have 2 like really cheap HP monitors, one above, and then 1 vertical monitor, where the other HP monitor is vertical and off to the right. And then I just have like a drawing tablet that I don't really use all that much, but because it's a fancy drawing tablet with a screen, I just have it plugged in. So I suppose I could put an additional text editor on my drawing tablet. The only problem is that the drawing tablet is basically facing upwards. Like, I can see it, but it's not ideal. I guess this is more of a runner. File not found, I guess. File not found. So I'll pass along the path there. This one. So safely. Config error. This is more of a config. Create config error, something like that. Something like that. Open Paint on the tablet? Yeah, maybe. I do keep Paint. I do use Paint a decent amount for whatever reason. I like Paint. I use it at my first job an extensive amount, and you know what? The fact that it's really easy to do something like, you know, this, and then you can, you know, select the inner part and just move it around. And you can resize the canvas as well. It's really nice. You know, Paint gets a bad rap. Like if you want to do real arts, you should probably better off using another program. But if you want something that, you know, basically an infinite canvas, Paint's not so bad. For the ambient white light, yeah, no, I don't really need more ambient light. I don't program in the dark like a degenerate. I'm sorry. Okay. Load model. Oh, okay, hold on. So runner traits. Okay, hold on. We can do like a not yet implemented. Something like that. Yeah. Something that's kind of neat is that whenever this prints out an error, it'll actually use this enum code because of how I wrote this. So when the application first starts, what you can do, so the app manager is the first thing to start. So you can do safely register error codes, and then you can pass in an enum as an argument, and then safely, which is my null safe thingamajig, will register that backwards, which is kind of neat. So then we can do a reverse lookup on these enum values. Whereas if you try to print out an error code in Godot normally, you'll just get a number, because I mean that's how enums are represented in Godot. How neat. Give this a save, reload. How nice. So I go up here. So I feel like I should be doing these two things in separate steps. Or basically check to see if we have a model or check the file extension first. So if it's a JSON file, we load the config and then load the model. Otherwise, we load the model and then the config. Yeah, something like that. So I just grab all of this. What is this? Config manager path to strip name. Returns the file name without an extension. I feel like this should be moved to file util. Switch to runner. Yeah. Load Godot resource. Yeah. Yeah. It's not really a file. It's more of like a string util, but sure. And I just take a peek at that. Yeah, basically just take this, copy and paste. How nice. Remove this from config manager because this doesn't have anything to do with the config. Then this will be file util, something like that. Okay. I think this is fine. Maybe. Turns the results. Okay. And runner trait, we'll add a new thing. Loading a model config. Okay. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. So this is no longer a consideration. Now we just want to do this. Model name we don't even need anymore, but load model config. So this tries to load it in. Model config. I think we can just do, I might be better off just rewriting this. Hold on. It's not very difficult. AMCM load config. It's not really a path though, right? Yeah, it's not a path. It's just the config name, because when you go to, I can't run it anymore, but in presets, somewhere, where are my presets at? In presets, when you do this load, yeah, it just sends the config name, and then we figure out the rest from the metadata. Yeah. So this is not even a path. It's more of a, this is the, let's update this. This is the name of config file to load must be present in metadata. Okay. Config name. Let's actually look at runner trait one more time. Did I? Yeah, config name. Yeah. Just gotta make sure. So, comment all of this out, but we are going to be working with this. So config name, and then the, what's it called? Config file extension, and we also need to safely wrap this. Because this returns a result. So if result is error, and then return the result. Yeah. Actually, most of these I don't need to return anything. Or I don't need to have the new error codes. What am I doing? That's the entire point of having these error codes, or the result handlers, right? Is because that you can bubble up an error. It's really easy to as well. You don't need to continue to rewrap them. What am I doing? So like this one, it's so easy. Because you know that these are results. These are still valid results. It's okay to have a little bit of log spam, I guess. Although it would probably be better if I took these out. Right, because you should really only log spam about errors. Like, it's okay to have like info logs, but you should never error spam unless you're at the, I guess, the very root, the lowest level of calling function. In my opinion, anyways. I think it's just cleaner that way. Otherwise, you get all types of error logs, and you don't know where everything is coming from because there's too many, so it takes forever to sift through every single log. But actually, if it doesn't exist, maybe we don't return immediately? Yeah. So if we try to load the config but it's not there, then we'll do safely wrap amcm create new model config based off of the model name. But you don't actually have a model name here, huh? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Maybe this should just bail out and then we'll create it in a separate step. Yeah, I think that probably makes more sense. Oh, and that's it then. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, okay. There we go. Easy. So now here we just need to do, so does this add it to the model parent as soon as possible? It does. That's kind of gross, isn't it? So when did these get added to the scene? Model parent. Okay, so they get added to the scene here. So I feel like this should actually be moved up here because it doesn't matter where we initialize it, right? It's only the load model step, which is different. And actually, I feel like here, it might be better just to return the model. So once we've successfully loaded the model, we can return. Then we can return the model along with any potential error codes, I suppose. Yeah. So if model to load path ends with JSON, right? I suppose .json. So then these are the two execution paths. Let's rename this to res. Why not? Res. There we go. It's all the same result, right? It doesn't matter. If we needed the result, we would have, or if we needed the wrapped value inside of the result, we should have taken it out beforehand. This way, this ensures that the result that we're using is always the most up-to-date one. So this should be, you might be asking, why am I wrapping all of these functions which return results inside of another results? And that's because hold on. I just realized this doesn't work. But yeah, all these functions that return results are being wrapped in another result because if the function fails, it will return null. And so this helps guarantee that this value will always exist. We'll always have a value for result or for res. And if res is ever null, then that means that something is like extremely broken, which is good. So if we get a result, but it contains an error, then that's fine. That means we can handle it. If we ever get a result and it's null, that means that, drop everything, figure out what happened. Yeah, but I've realized that this gives me, I'm passing along a a config name, not a config file path. So I can't do this. So maybe I should do like a load model. So we just try load model first, and then if that doesn't work, then we'll try load config. Yeah, something like that. I think that makes more sense. So we do res is equal to, so we always assume that we want to try to load model to load path. And then if res is error, I guess we can match against the error type. So this is error. So the possible errors that we can return from this are, I actually don't know what the possible error types are. Try load model. Yeah. So if it's runner file not found, then we'll do a thing. So this is a very Rust style of doing error handling, which I've found I've come to like. It's very structured, yes. It's very correct as well, which is nice. All right, so if it's any of these, well, it's hard to say actually. Yeah, so if it's any of those error codes, then that means we bailed out early, I suppose. But then what other errors could we have? We could also possibly have a config already exists, I guess. So we'll need to handle that elsewhere as well. So give this a comment out. So we try the load model. If we ever hits an error, then we can try to handle it. Runner file not found. That's a big one. And if hold on. If we ever hit this path, then that's bad. I mean, yeah. Actually, yeah, these are the only errors that you can possibly have. And they all result in you just changing the scene. Yeah, never mind. So I guess we'll just return. Oh, but actually no, because you don't want to do this. Oh, that's tough. All right, I think the problem is more fundamental than this. I need to go up one level. Hold on, so get rid of this part for now. We're back to presets GD. This one, load. We want to reload the runner with several pieces of data. So we publish, you can publish using some sort of string key. You can publish with data and then also pass along an optional ID, just in case. It's basically like data too, but you always need to publish data when you're publishing. The ID is really only used for like bones and stuff. Or if you're modifying a dictionary. So you'll pass along the new dictionary along with the ID, which refers to which value was changed. But here, I'm thinking. So we publish. Oh no, is my laundry done? No, my laundry, I totally forgot. All right, give me one sec. I gotta restart my laundry. I think it's getting cold. I don't want to have to iron it. BRB. Hello, hello. I've successfully restarted my laundry. Hooray for being a functioning adult. Ugh. Constant. All right, I think I need a key here. Oh, hello, Bumsy. Hello, hello. How are you? It's been a little bit. These aren't signals. These are like IDs. Okay. Yeah, where have you been? I was really stressed out. So decided just to take a break, you know, because everyone has their own coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So, you know, I have the usual three, which is like sleeping, eating, and then like rampant substance abuse. So, you know, eating a nice meal, wasn't able to do it. So I was like, you know, what if I just sleep more? And I was like, it's not quite doing it anymore. What if I start, you know, decaying into rampant substance abuse? And actually, that has been holding me over for like the past 4 years, I guess, unfortunately. But like for the past month, it wasn't really working anymore. So I was like, oh no. I feel like this is a really bad path to be going down. So let's just cool it entirely. You know, so here we are. Decided, you know, it's probably not worth it to destroy my life just to be able to cope with work stress and all that. Or work stress and all that. So instead decided to make the much smarter choice of cutting out things that stress me out. So working on this application is yeah, that's high on the list of things that stress me out. Streaming, not really a big stressor, but it's on there. Waking up early to go work out, also like stop doing that for a week. You know, and I think we're sufficiently reset. My liver and various other organs get to survive for another few years, I guess. Yeah, because I know I think if I pushed on the current path I was going on, I would probably regress back into smoking cigarettes, which I really don't want to do. One, because cigarettes are just horrible for you, and two, oh, actually, isn't this just the config? Wait a minute. This is the config, isn't it? Hold on. Did I accidentally figure this out? I designed this and then just kind of forgot about it for whatever reason. Hold on. Yeah, no, this is just the config. Okay. So then we just need to unwrap it, right? Oh, this would never work anyways. Wait, no, it would. Wait. I'm dumb. We don't need this. I was already passing the config in the first place. Spaghetti. Okay. Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Yeah, so this might actually break because this is giving me the config, not the other thing, I suppose. So then here we need to check. Is this expected since you look like a workaholic to me, or more like discipline, so rest is required? I thought you won't miss the jam, but yeah. You mean the GMTK 2022 jam? I don't really respect GMTK anymore. I thought they were okay. And then their videos started to get more and more into like armchair game design, and then they like I can respect that they walked back a lot of their points. I'm assuming that you're talking about GMTK in the first place. Like I can respect that they walked back a lot of their weird takes on game design. Is, oh, you just tweak a few values and then it's fine, but I don't know. It's never so simple when you're programming. I need to do something here. But yeah. I try to maintain a decent amount of discipline, but the problem with being disciplined is that it takes discipline to maintain discipline, if that makes any sense. And so once discipline starts to break down, it's everything starts to break down. So you need a way to recover somehow. Okay, let's push some things around. So like this. And then we'll match on if res. If res unwrap is a base config, I guess. Hold on. If it's a base config, then all we need to do is just load it in, I think. Like we don't need to, yeah, actually we don't need to do anything. We just do amcm model config is equal to res unwrap. and then amcm model to load path is equal to amcm model config model path, something like that. Else model to load path is equal to am, or no, it's just equal to res unwrap. Yeah, I think I would prefer it if this could just figure it out on the C++ side, but I think you would need to make some changes to the GD script parser instead, which is above my pay grade, I think. And then actually, I think I want to roll these back to here, right? So we don't even need to have load config, so I might need to roll this back inside a runner trait. Or maybe, maybe this could still be here, and then we'll do the same thing in both places. Something like that. Like this makes sense, I think. So if amcm model config model name is equal to, do I have just all model name? Hold on. Model name file util path to strip name path. So that's your path, and then if amcm, the current config, that's tough. Hold on. Because I think my order of operations is bad here. And I closed Paint already. I had the picture. So if you have a config file, then using that config file, we can load in a new model. And then we won't load in the corresponding config file for that model because we've already loaded in a new config file. But if you load in the file first, you'll need to load in the new config file for that model. But if I do what I think of, if I did this, right? If am model name, whatever, if our config model name matches our current model name, what happens if you load in I guess what would you expect to happen? Say for here, if I loaded in, like I load a model and it's the same duck, what would I expect to happen? Right? Would I expect it to use the default duck config, or would I expect it to use the config that's already loaded in for the duck? See, that's confusing me. But I didn't consider until just now. So I think this logic is correct. Now I just need a way of signaling, you know, did we already load in the config or not? Just load as a new model. Yeah, but then we load it as a new model. There's not really a great way to load it as a new model though, right? Because when we load a model, we don't know if we need to load in a new config or not. Because that information is not there. And I suppose what I could do is just clear. I could just clear the model config every single time. I guess if I just clear the model config every single time, it makes it easier, but I really dislike null values. But that solves the problem immediately. And actually, we only ever hit setup scene when we restart. Yeah, okay, let's just do that. amcm model config is null. I strongly dislike doing this though. I hate this. Yeah, okay, problem solved. So if model config is null, then we'll load in a new config. But see, if we pass in a config file first, then it won't be null when we load the model. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, right? So we try to load in a new model. Otherwise, well, okay. Setup scene, so we check in our cache. Kind of weird, but when we receive a reload runner signal, we push the payload data into our cache, and then we just kind of manually switch everything. We reload the entire scene. And so we can't actually do get tree reload scene because this is not a pack scene. This is just a GD file. Yeah, the idea of loading requires to be loaded into initial state. That was confusing. 6,221 entries in the jam. That's just too much. It is a ton, but imagine all the free content you can make, all the videos. You can talk about it. I wonder, has GMTK, have they talked about the recent Unity debacle, where Unity is merging with an adware company? Was it Iron Source? Because I know that GMTK, they learned Unity and they made like a game. I still hate most of their opinions on game dev, like making accessibility like. Accessibility is easy, you just add this. And it's like, that's not how that works. You don't just add a thing. The balls to talk about? Yeah, I don't think they do. I mean, they did have the balls to like walk back some other statements, to be fair, about game dev, but still. Let me think. Hold on. Results. I think that's good. I have an error somewhere else though. Where? Oh, it's you. I think it's unfair to judge Unity like that. I think it's warranted because they are one of the top engines that also has a reputation for abandoning projects and just kind of generally being anti-developer for whatever reason. They're not your friend, shouldn't be. They just have to give good products. Yeah, well, I think they first need to give a good product first, right? Like, do you know where the state of their input manager is after all these years? I haven't heard anything about it. But I remember when I was trying to do it, I was like, I have no idea what the heck this input manager thing is doing. I'm just going to do it the old way, which is where I think you just query for inputs. Whereas I think the input manager handled all of that for you. Or I guess there's also the classic example that everyone always brings up, like UNet, which is their networking solution that they abandoned. Didn't they let go? Yeah, Unity had an input manager, yeah, in development. They also let go their demo team, which is also like extremely bad. Don't do that. Mess. Yeah, so like I think you only get to have you get a few freebies, right? You can make a few, you know, bad PR decisions as long as you have a good product. Unfortunately, not really. Like, what was the last good thing Unity did? And then we'll see if it can counterbalance them merging with an adware company. It's all I expect that they need to be aware. Yeah. I don't know. I think if I heard like Godot was like merging with like a crypto thing, I would start getting nervous, honestly. So Google's, but yeah, but Google provides a ton of services, right? Right, like I think Google search is, it's hard to say like, no, that's not very good. Like Google search is very good. Gmail, very good. Google Docs, very good. You know, all very good things. Google Maps, 10 out of 10. It's only their like the smaller stuff. Like isn't Duo going away? But I never used Duo. Remember Google Wave? I remember Google Wave. Google Plus, I also remember Google Plus, but Google Plus wasn't very good. Google Wave was like really, really cool though. But then they eventually like turned that into Google Docs anyways. So that's fine. They buy company. Yeah, they buy companies and they do. Yeah, but you know, they counterbalance that. They have come up with some cool stuff as well. Right? Yeah, they delete some of them. You know, like Golang. I think Golang is pretty good. Especially like Golang 18 with generics and all that. Big fan, big fan. If res is error, then we'll do res is equal to safely new model config for the model name and the, what do you need? Model name, model path, which is the path, and then the config name, which is the model name, I suppose. Okay, sure. I think try load model result. Oh, the result contains the loaded model. Okay. And then if res. Yeah, something like that. Then load config. Oh, okay. Create new model config. This returns a result. And then it contains the model config. Okay. Maybe replace Python or improve on. I left using Unity like 4 or 5 years ago. Started looking at Godot. Same. Did a little bit of Unreal 4 as well, but I don't know. I think recently I've really come around to the idea of C++ though. Have you seen this? Check this out. Look at that. I got this working in my free time yesterday. Ruby, or it's not Ruby, it's mruby. I still need to change this though. So it definitely works. I just need to figure out how to bind things to Ruby now. But I am able to pass integers, floats, and strings to and from the interpreter, which is neat. Config is equal to res unwrap. Or actually, can't I just do this? So config manager, this still works like so, that's fine. But we can do am publish. Yeah, but I think Unity's always been kind of a mess, and they haven't been able to do the Google thing of keeping up goodwill by still releasing good products. I think the only goodwill that Unity has at this point is, you know, like they have a few really good games made in it, like Hollow Knight. What's that island survival game? Isn't that one also pretty good? Like they have a pretty good roster of games made with Unity, but I think the problem that you always see is like everyone's always tagged on a specific version of Unity, which I really dislike. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I got it. Just set this equal to a new model config, and then we only need to check this if it's empty. If model name empty, because you should never have an empty model config. Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. Am I not allowed to do this? What? No, this is right. Yeah? God, I hate Godot sometimes. This is right. I'm correct. Why are you booing me? Raft? I think Raft is also Unity, isn't it? I know the game. Yeah, it's like you. I can't remember it, but you're in a plane crash, and then is it called the jungle? The forest. Yeah, not the jungle. The forest. Yeah, I know things sometimes. Create new model config. By the way, does this set it immediately? Oh, this doesn't set it. Let's add a creates a new model config if possible. Does not immediately set the config. The model, but does store in metadata. Yeah. Her name Tarkov. No, Tarkov isn't made in Unity. I think RimWorld is though. Like Enter the Gungeon is made in Unity. Tarkov is not made in. I thought Tarkov was Tarkov engine. Oh, it is Unity. Oh, I thought Tarkov was custom. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, so they migrated at some points. Interesting. I thought they were always on their own custom engine, but I guess that makes sense. So they can't just update Unity versions like even they want to. It's Unity, yeah. See, that's one of the things though, is that like a lot of the Unity stuff is always, or a lot of the tutorials are always for a specific version of Unity. It's never the latest, because the latest versions of Unity always break everything for whatever reason. Absolute path to the model. resulting config file. Okay. I feel like I need to change this. Like, having these two things is kind of weird. Yeah, okay. So let's add a to-do. To-do, get rid of, and get rid, or actually, make this the default behavior. So we'll go back to that. Many popular games are still using 2018 or something. Yeah. I don't know. That's why I like Godot, right? Is that you have some backwards compatibility between versions, which is nice. It's really only like, you know, 3.4 to 4.0 where you have a ton of breaking changes, which is expected. But, you know, going from 3.3 to 3.4, not bad. I'm assuming 3.4 to 3.5 will also not be too bad. It's really only if you're doing a lot of GD native stuff that it can be kind of painful. Because I know for GD native stuff, like my GD native stuff still works, but my GD native stuff still works for some reason. I guess I'm not doing anything super complicated using like 3D stuff. I'm usually only doing 2D or even just like GUI controls. So even though I have like Rust libraries compiled for like 3.3, they still load in pretty well. I have never had to regenerate the API, which is nice. Okay. And actually for this, no, we do need to do it like this. We can't just use the query syntax because that won't work. All right, so let's see. Is this necessary? I could probably move this stuff to here, right? So load config, and then here. Something like that. Oh, I don't have the model name, so it's not possible. Because clearly it won't be here. Which actually means I should just do this. So like this, we get rid of load config, that's fine. Runner traits, we'll get rid of load config as well. And then there we go, there we go. So this returns a result containing nothing. Yeah. I think that's fine. Results. The error code. Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. I think. Yofukashi no Uta. I know that one. I've read that one. I got bored of it. But I got around the parts. I don't know how far you are in it. I know that it's airing as an anime, isn't it? Completely unrelated, or actually tangentially related. I did start paying for a Crunchyroll subscription. Because I'm like, man, Netflix doesn't really have anything that I want to watch. I guess I'll just pay for Crunchyroll and just watch a bunch of anime now, like a weirdo. Same, a little boring, but anime is amazing. Is it at the part where he meets all the other vampires? Or no? It was around that part I got really bored. Spoilers. Oh, congrats on the Tenshi Emacs. Look at that. I do like how you you have a merge request from yourself. Classic mistake. Yeah, I passed that part. Yeah, that part I got super bored. Battle hacks. Yeah. I don't know anything about Emacs though. Emacs Lisp? Oh, did you write this Lisp stuff? The Lisp stuff. Lisp is tough. I'm also not familiar with most of these macros. Yeah. Anime literally gave it life. Nice. I'm still not gonna watch the anime. I'm still watching through Attack on Titan. I think the pacing is a lot better in the anime for sure than in the manga for Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan drags for forever. But the anime is just like, yeah, you know, they shot the dude. Whatever. I was like, oh, cool. Nice. We didn't have to go through melodrama. Because a lot of the middle chapters in Attack on Titan are just filled with like, oh no, should I do this? Will I be betraying humanity? Like, no one cares, dude. Just do your thing. Yeah, congrats, Needle Mouse. Sick config. One of these days I'll learn how to use Emacs, but not today. Also, it's tough to use Emacs on a limited keyboard like I have. So I feel like Emacs is really suited for like a 100% keyboard, a keyboard that has all its keys. Whereas, I don't know, Vim is a bit nicer in that regard, in that it doesn't punish you for using hold on, I just noticed there's like a crumb in my keyboard. It's a peanut? There's a peanut in my keyboard? The heck is this? Oh, it's chocolate. Is that how I broke my last keyboard? So I just was eating chocolate one of these days, and when I just sprayed chocolate onto the PCB. What the heck? I'm gonna use evil mode in Emacs? Eh. Yeah, I know what evil mode is, yeah. I think this is fine, so let's give it a try, I suppose. Boom, boom. Oh, no, it broke. Okay. So what happened? Tried to load a model at an empty path. Eh? Really? I don't think so. Default runner. Tried to load a model at an empty path. Where? Oh, it's this one. Oh, no, that's... Is that correct? But then it didn't load in the correct config. Eh? Eh? Did it also give me a busted config file? Alright, so if I do this and zoom it, it's possible that it's just confused. Back to the main menu. Okay, so it's broken. Okay, I broke something. Finished load model. Okay, so... loading config for model. So no found, or no config, no existing config found. Creating new config. Info finished. Can't use anything that doesn't have Vim controls. LSP standard protocol it is. I know that Godot's LSP was a bit weird, or it used to be a bit weird. I think they fixed it though. Like, didn't it used to work via UDP, but now they've gone back to the standard format of WebSocket, or maybe it's the other way around. Yeah. No, I'm a scrub. I just use Vim. Vim or VI, which for some reason on the new VMs that we use at work, like it's still Vim, but it's not available under Vim. It's only available under VI, but it's Vim though. It's so strange. I don't know who made that decision. So every single time that I want to edit a file at work, I always accidentally get hit with a, program doesn't exist. Ugh. Oh, it's not loading anything, huh? Eh? So loading metadata, finish loading metadata. Try to load a model on an empty path. Yeah. Starting load model. Loading it, using the scene loader. Finish load model. Eh? Is it this part? It is almost certainly this part, but why is it this part? Why is it when I'm doing the check for the name that it's failing? So it's just giving me an empty. Oh, it's because of this model config. Oh my god. Okay, change me. Sure. These should just all be empty. Yeah. Why do I even have change me here? What the heck? Who did this? It was me. All right, so now it should work. Instead of, yeah, okay, he's fixed it. Analyzer is weird. I use NeoVim native LSP with Godot. Godot LSP is slow. I can believe that. I don't know. Vim is one of those things where if you learn it really well, it's pretty much magic. What's the saying? It's not actually a saying. The actual saying is sufficiently advanced technology is the same as magic. That's pretty much it, right? But also being like sufficiently good at something is also basically magic, right? Like if you're like really good at Vim, it's essentially magic, like, because I don't know what you're doing. So you're really good at Vim, you can fly around the screen at breakneck speeds without ever taking your hands off the keyboard, which is cool. Just not for me. Oh. So this saved, and then we can go here. We can load in duck. We can load in ASDF. We can load in duck. We can load in ASDF. Okay, cool. Look at that. Oh, wait, hold on. Finished load model for, wait, what? That's not right. Yeah, that's not right at all. How is this still loading in? Am I crazy? Did I not fix this? Is it? It's because it's not hitting this part, right? It's not hitting. It's not able to compare the type of the class yet. So I thought it was working, but it's still just using the old functionality, which is, I guess, convenience. Non-Vim text editors can't customize crap. Yeah, that's fair. I don't really care, honestly. I like my VS Code config, and that's about it. I've just gotten used to having to reconfigure every single editor I ever use. It's one of those. All right, so load me. And then we'll switch to ASDF. Ah, I see. And then this one, this doesn't exist. Does this work? So we load into here, presets, ASDF, and we should, we're not hitting the breakpoints. Am I not able to, or is it giving me a path and it's not actually giving me the real config file? I thought it was giving me the real config file though. Oh, this is the config name. No, this is the real config. Yeah, because this is in model configs. It's a config. Oh no, this still gives me a path. I'm dumb. That's right. That's right. Which means I didn't need to do all of this. Okay. Well, here we can do ends with .json. Then we can just load in a specific config file. Load config, or am cm load config res map, something like that. I guess that's fine. So this will always be a string though. That's something I need to internalize and probably make a note of here. This value is always a string. Oh, hello Grimmer, how are you? I'm sorry, I don't have any friends. I only have frenemies. Or enemies, sorry. The boomer in me slipped out. No one says frenemy anymore. Unfortunately, I'm not old enough to be a boomer though. How'd the Godot reel go? I got it submitted, so I posted about it on my Discord, but it's there. You can find it in the announcement section. It's okay. You know, edited by yours truly. Okay, so this is loading the stuff correctly. Oh, baby. Although I'm not really sure why this thing switches. Like, I guess I don't really understand why it's not alphabetized. Oh, you know what? I think I do know why it's not alphabetized. It's because I always load in the... Actually, I don't know why. Why is it not alphabetized? Seems weird. And you know what? I feel like No, that's fine. We'll just keep it like that. Always be a string. We'll just do a really quick type check. If payload, type of payload. Yeah, but regarding like whether or not I got accepted to the show reel, I'm not sure. It's possible. I hope I do get accepted because I don't know. It'd be nice to get a few more eyes on this. Although, hopefully I can get an alpha release of this out before the show reel actually comes out. String. Unable. Invalid type for data must be a string. Yeah, there we go. Look at announcements. What is mruby? Oh baby. In some cases, yeah. mruby. So thanks for asking. Check this out. Been watching too many magical girl anime. That's what watching watching Madoka Magica does to an MFer. Puts you down the wrong path. But check this out. So you have Godot code like this. Good job on the demo showcase. Thank you, thank you. Wasn't as painful, or at least editing stuff wasn't as painful as I remember it being, but maybe it's because I'm older now. And also using a simpler tool. I'm not using Sony Vegas. I just use Windows Video something? Video editor. Yeah, never watched Ruby. I've heard good things about Ruby as well, but check this out. So we have this new Ruby object, which contains several functions. So load file, load string. So this is the file, test RB. It's in my resource directory. How cool. So it just contains a class called hello, and you can also call, oh, and it also just returns wow at the end of it after parsing. And then here, since this loads it into the interpreter, it's basically a REPL. So then you can load string and then call the function on it immediately. So then when we run this, you get nothing. But if you look at the console, look at that. So we have wow, which comes from this file, wow. I still need to figure out how to strip out the quotation marks, I guess, but maybe that's just fine. Then there's hello world, which is puts hello world. Then hello world, because I print the return value of the function. Then there's woo, which is hello woo, which just returns woo. And then here we have a more complicated Ruby expression 5 times, and then we pass this block to it, which is this hello test. So it prints it out 5 times, hello world, and then you see the native Godot prints ready at the end. So how neat, how neat. What types can it return? Right now it can only return integers, floats, and anonymous objects, which I then just cast to a string. It's probably not the best solution, but it's what I got. I'm still trying to think about how I want to bind GDScript to it. But the code is all open source, so I mean, it's not super complicated. What's my GitHub? We have the random Chinese person who stars all my repositories, but you know, it's free star. Yeah. So this is how I'm handling the return value. So it's weird. It's a weird one. So Ruby is like another language. Yeah, it's another language. It's very common actually, especially in Japanese games. Like if you look at the credits for Final Fantasy 15, it uses no, actually Final Fantasy 15 uses Python, I think. No. Yeah. No, yeah, Final Fantasy 15 uses Python. No, it's Near Automata that uses Ruby, and it specifically uses mRuby because it's easy to embed. Yeah. So, but lots of Japanese games use mRuby, as far as I know, for scripting, which is neat. But this is kind of tough, right? So, I think mRuby is actually a C program, but so it does a lot of things C style. So whenever you want to call any function, you must pass in your interpreter states, which is why you see MRB just everywhere. Is there Sapphire and Emerald by any chance? There isn't. I know there is Emerald. There's the Emerald engine, which is a 2D game engine for Rust, which aims to be one of the most portable 2D engines out there, I guess. That's about it. Yeah. So look at that, how neat. So we switch on the Ruby type. So we have the easy types. So there's type null, true, false, integer, float. And then after that, then we just kind of, we just try to hope to see if we can inspect it and get a string representation. Otherwise, we just cast it to a string. So it's a bit weird. I'm still thinking about how I want to set up all of the classes and stuff. It's hard. It's tough. Because I'm not sure how to give a pointer to Ruby and then pass it back to Godot, if that makes any sense. It's weird. And there's not too much documentation either, because I think they ran out of funding from the Japanese government. Ruby is like a Japanese language, by the way. It's written by a Japanese guy, which is cool. What's the most similar to that is more known in the West? Python. So Ruby and Python are very similar languages, or they fill the same space. But actually, Ruby is slower than Python. Ruby is actually slower than Python, but I think people enjoy writing Ruby more for whatever reason. Like, it's one of those languages you always see. It's like, in terms of like developer happiness, I think a lot of people tend to be really happy writing Ruby for whatever reason. So it makes sense to port to GD? Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, it's like the syntax. If once you learn the syntax, like Ruby is supposed to be one of the best languages to use ever. But it's cool. I mean, because I showed you. I don't really want to open it up again. And also, this example isn't very good. But if we go to Godot, oh, it is Godot Scratch. Yeah. So like this is actually fairly readable for like a human, right? It's even more. It's potentially more readable than Python. But it is extremely slow. Python isn't slow if you know how to optimize it. Yeah. Well, that's like any language, right? The big advantage that Python has over Ruby is that Python is just more popular, so people write a lot more C libraries, or libraries in C, or via FFI for Python. Whereas Ruby is, I don't know, Ruby only has Ruby on Rails. And I think isn't GitHub still, most of their backend is still on Ruby on Rails? But yeah, I think this is fairly readable as opposed to for I in range 5. Something like that. So so this is valid Python. And if you compare 5 times hello test, something like that, it's like, which one is more readable? I think technically at a glance, this is more readable. But I think if you're a programmer, this is more readable, right? Because, you know, this is a for loop, right? But this one, it's like just, you know, 5 times, you know, just do this. Oh, okay, you know, that's easy. Whereas this one, you need to parse it. You know, for I in range 5, hello test, which is a function. You know, Ruby syntax is unmatched. I like Ruby syntax, but on the same token, I hate Ruby syntax because like technically anything is like you're allowed to do a lot of things in Ruby, which I kind of dislike because it makes it hard to read, right? So if you learn things one way, you know, there's also 5 other ways of doing a thing. Whereas in Python, there's usually only one correct way of doing things, which makes it easy, right, to spot errors. Or at least that's how I feel about it. Because, I mean, that's how I read things, right, is I read things, like I read the start of it, I kind of glance over the rest, and then I read the end of it. And it's, oh, okay, pass. Ready, Ruby, we're doing a Ruby thing. Lots of commented out code, and then pass. Okay, cool. So I don't actually read most of the code that I write. You know, I mostly just skim it. Might be a dumb question. Is GitHub open source or just host open source code? It's closed source. Reading is bad, writing is good. Reading is like 90% of programming though. So if I can tell if something is wrong at a glance, that's a plus for me in my opinion. But yeah, GitHub is not open source. But I don't know. Let me actually fact check myself. Isn't GitHub Ruby on GitHub backend? Isn't language? Sure. What programming language is GitHub? I don't know. According to GitHub Wikipedia, it's written in Ruby on Rails. Yeah. Good enough. Let's see, context of an object. GitHub is monopoly. Yeah, well, I mean, it's because it's the best product out there, right? Like GitLab has, I don't know. I don't like GitLab's UI. Just a lot of things about GitLab's UI I just don't like. I like GitHub. I like how GitHub does it. But maybe that's just because I'm more used to seeing the, you know, the top bar. Whereas GitLab does everything via sidebar. It's just different strokes for different folks, etc., etc. I think this is good enough to push for now. We'll push it really quick. Actually, what's the diff on Project Godot? Okay, I changed that. That's right. That's right. Wrap more functions in safely.wrap. Change logic for loading in initial loading. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just push that straight to master so it invalidates every single PR that's up there right now. So there we go. And also, check this out. I think yesterday I figured out how to, or my gut tests should all, actually I didn't test here, so maybe my gut tests are broken. I think that was a, did it crash? It did crash. Oh no, what happened? Oh, it did crash, look at that. What happened? Oh, the extension manager crashed, that's fine. Sometimes the extension manager test fails. Because it tries to, I think it tries to unload a DLL. But Godot, there's like a specific process that you need to go through when you're unloading a DLL. I still need to figure that out. GitHub Copilot so unethical? Yeah, it's a bit unethical for sure. You heard of mocap for all? Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. I've received a request for that before. Mocap. Isn't it mocap for all? Isn't this the... Is this not the free and open source one? Yeah, no, yeah, mocap for... Isn't this open source or no? Or is there another one that's on GitHub? I don't remember. But there's a lot of things. The next one on my list, though, you might have noticed from... Not this one. From the scratch here that I am working with MediaPipe, or I'm trying to work with MediaPipe anyways. How cool. There's for all and for streamer, they're slightly different. Not sure if they're open source. It doesn't look like they're open source, but there is like a face tracking thing that's similar to mocap for all that's open source. I forget what it's called though, but it's all in Python, as they all seem to be in Python. But I'm focusing on MediaPipe next because MediaPipe gives you face tracking, eye tracking, and also body and hand tracking. So that's the next logical step. So you don't need to have a fancy setup. You just need the same thing as OpenSea Face, which is a webcam. So that's the hope. That's the hope. The unfortunate part is I need to get it to the compile on my machine. I got it compiling before. Hello, Rose Ninja. Hello, how are you? Yeah, so I got it compiling on my machine once, and now it refuses to compile again. So I'm thinking about it. It's hard. All right, so file selected, on model selected. Reload runner. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's how that works. So model selected, reload runner path. Yeah. For streamers, it's a bit less demanding. It's just torso up. For all is full body. Yeah. But MediaPipe. I feel like people don't really pay attention to this, even though it is like probably the best solution out there that's also open source. So I think this is what Godot Face uses as well, except Godot Face doesn't have access to eye tracking, right? Because that's not available in JavaScript. So holistic tracking, which is what I want to do. Right, so that's what I'm doing. I'm using the C++ module, which gives you access to this. I guess if I wanted to use just Python, I could, you would be able to get this, but you wouldn't get any iris tracking. 2 parallel webcams to make a stereoscopic image for tracking. Yeah, but see, this one, MediaPipe, only uses one webcam. How fancy. It's also extremely complicated. It's a bit too big brain for me, but we're getting there. So let's see. The next thing to do, let's exit PowerShell. Bring me back to, oh, this is MediaPipe. Didn't I have GitHub? I need to make sure that my run passed. Oh, my run failed. After 43 seconds, what happened? Oh, I see. Wait, why did my thing pass here then? Huh? What? Test config manager. I mean, it makes sense. I think that it failed, but why didn't this catch the error? 23. What the heck? Why did these not match up? Test, save, pass. Yeah. File must be open before use. What? Miliana had a lot of problems with MediaPipe, which is why it's still not implemented. I heard they just came out with a new tracking model. Oh, Emiliana is the OpenSea face. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's complicated, right? It's complicated. I'm assuming Emiliana, I'm assuming Emiliana is a she, because it is usually a girl's name. I'm assuming she's using... I've seen a few media pipe bindings for Unity. Unfortunately, I don't have I don't have that luxury. Which test is this? Test get set test save pass 7. Where are we at? Finished saving data. At line -1. Why is CI failing? Metadata file. What? File must be opened before use. I'm not getting this here. Is this because of... Is this the only place where I do saving and loading? This is the only place where I'm doing saving and loading. What if I just run it again? Yeah. I think I know what's going on. It's probably because the file system is read-only. Yeah, sometimes the containers are read-only. So I wonder if there's a Docker configuration that I can change to make it read-write. Yeah, there probably is a thing. I'll have to think about it. Actually, instead of just thinking about it, we can actually check. So I'll look at my version of this. Where is it? I submitted a PR. Yeah, here. So Godot tester. So their Docker file. Well, no. Aren't Docker thingies always read-write? I don't know. Docker file. Right. FS. Sure. I don't want to write to the host file system. How do I write to the Docker containers file system? Because you are allowed to write to the containers file system by default. It's only when you want to write to the host file system from a Docker container that you start having problems, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming this is the same problem. Yeah. Where it wasn't able to... Error parsing JSON at line 0. Yeah. I'm not sure what's the assert though. Oh, it's it's this. So what is 7? What is error 7? Okay. Error 7 is file not found. Yeah, it failed to write. Maybe path with Unix system? It's possible. I mean, it shouldn't matter, though, is the thing. Oh, you know what? It might be. It might be. So what do I save? No, it shouldn't matter still, right? If it's inside of a Docker container, because this save data function... Hold on. Where was it? Assert true. Yeah. Wait, no. Wait, yes. Maybe? I don't know. Save data. This writes to the default path, right? Which is the save data path. And then we determine the save data path depending on whether or not this is a debug build. And so this should be using the, which one? Build container, no. Checkouts, no. Run, blah, blah. Downloading Godot. Yeah, this is from headless. So this should be a debug build. If you're not using absolute path in Pascal case, you should be fine as far as I know. Even if you are using an absolute path, you should still be okay. But it doesn't really matter either way, I suppose. Because I'm using Godot paths. I wonder if it's a problem with the build that I have. If my headless build is not the same as the standard Godot headless build. Although I did check this though. I checked this before, right? Look at this. 3 hours ago, I passed CI. Of course, that was before I did the... No. What? Config manager. Yeah, we run into some query problems. Is a girl? Yes. Sorry, I was searching through the old post about her talking about media pipe. That's no problem. Yeah, but see, look at this. So I did this 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago and 38 seconds. I didn't make any big changes to how I'm saving, but now this one I'm just not able to save. And then when we try to read the file again, we start to fail. Yeah, media pipe would be ideal for me. I think I'm okay on that front. It just requires more work. It requires more work. I'm working on it though. I guess I'll just ignore this and maybe I'll rerun this at some point. Because this doesn't make any sense for why it should be, or for why it's failing. I'll rerun it eventually, I suppose. Right? Because look at this. I have 2 good CI runs before this, and I have not changed anything related to the config manager save functionality. I have changed things related to the config manager, but that's a different story entirely. Is this the first time you've seen this test case file? I've never run it before. No, I run all tests, right? I just demonstrated that I had a bunch of passing tests, right? So I ran this 3 hours ago, and we were passing CI, and we look at the Docker test, and we did run the test config manager test. These are expected errors, which is why they're not contributing to the fail counts. So I don't know. I'm not sure. There's something about it. We'll have to figure it out. It's weird at the same Docker container. Well, yeah, I don't know. It must be like, I don't know. It's just sometimes the GitHub CI is unreliable for whatever reason. I wonder if it's like the specific machine config that's failing. So like, of course I'm not running this on a bare metal machine, right? So but if one of the machines in the cluster has like maybe it's like a read-only machine, and it's, I don't know, it's like introspecting on my Docker container, which would be a huge breach, but I've seen it happen before. But it's not able to write, and because of that, it's failing. But that's the one thing I did not change, is the write. None of the file writing logic has changed, so I don't know why that's failing. Well, we'll come back to it later. What's next? So I had presets working. Maybe I'll just, yeah, let's get VRM working. I've put that on the back burner for too long. I think presets are good. I think for a lot of the tracking stuff, actually, yeah, for a lot of the tracking stuff, I do need to go back to that. Or even for base layouts, I need to go back to this and then make it so they can pull config from other trackers, I guess. So just in case that stuff already exists, instead of trying to do its own setup, it'll just pull, it'll try to copy that node, essentially. Or actually, no, I can do that myself. That's fairly easy to do. We can just do a node duplicate. So I need to check on, see what Virtu is. Select a minimalist VR glove without fingertips for dexterity purposes, because raising and lowering hands usually looks bad with current hand tracking solutions from what I've seen. Yeah, it generally does. But that's I think it's not really a fault of the, it's not really a fault of like any tracking solution per se. It's more of a fault of VRM not being rigged correctly because of the format. Like the format specifies bad values, essentially. Like I think all bones are oriented forwards, which is wrong. It makes it really hard to manipulate a VRM model. Because actually, when you rig a model, your bones should be oriented wherever the bones are pointed. But that's not how VRM works. Maybe it's a read in a thread that has one core or something. It's not, yeah, it could be. Could be. And the problem is that it's not reading, it's trying to write. That's the problem. So we need to figure it out. When I have shoulder tracking from my model, I think most people understand how much they add to an expression. Is that not the case of GLB? GLB does it the normal way. No, it's only with VRM that you, if you want to be compliant with VRM, all your bones need to be oriented forwards, regardless of where the bones are pointing, which is why most VRM hand tracking solutions look kind of weird, because they have to pretend the bones are pointing in the correct direction, if that makes any sense. But for GLB, FBX, pretty much any widely used 3D model format, your bones point where your bones are pointing. It's only with VRM, and VRM is a GLB, right? VRM is GLB. It's just an extension to GLB. VRM specifies that bones must all point forward. I don't know why. But there's some VRM game thing that dictates that. I don't know. It's whatever the, you know, those nerds. VRM specification. It's a Japanese thing. Maybe they just do things differently in Japan. I don't know. The VRM consortium. Someone thought it made sense. You know, that's one of the problems with design by committee. Is that you have some genius that thinks like, oh, you know, maybe it'll just be easier for everyone involved if all the bones are oriented in the same direction. But actually, that's not the case. Let me see. I believe that this will still work. Oh, never mind. Invalid type for reload runner. Data must be a string. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Signal pop-up hide. Signal. GD scripts. Where? Where? Method not found. What? What did I do? I broke something? Does node util not exist anymore? Oh, try queue free. Try queue free. Oh, thank you for redeeming a hydrate. Let's hydrate everyone. Remember to stay hydrated. It's kind of weird how when I drink, the the face tracker kind of loses track of where my face is. Like it's clearly behind something, so it pushes the duck head all the way back. I just noticed that. All right, so this should still work, but then is it not passing in a node path here? Yeah, so this should be a path. Am I just dumb? Or, oh, actually, no, I know what happened. I know what happened. So we go back to main menu, VRM. I'm gonna consolidate those two things, by the way. So, but there will always be the default runner, but the VRM one should be the only one that you can see. Oh, invalid type for reload runner. Data must be a string. That's weird. Data must be a string. It's accurate. I don't know. Like, this is not what my face looks like when I tilt my head back, right? But I was watching it on my preview window, and it was like stretched all the way back like this. By the way, I'm just staring at this. There's something wrong here. So this inherits from default runner, right? Which makes sense, because a VRM should just work just like the default runner stuff does, except for some of the face tracking thingamajigs. Actually, don't really need anything in setup scene either, right? Physics step is the only one that's a little special, I guess. Oh, it's type of payload. Payload data. I'm a dummy. Okay. Bring me back to here. Model, load model, assets, VRM model, Alicia. Oop. Oop. Got confused. Invalid get index on base nil. Really? Okay, base layout. Okay. So there's something interesting here. So this comes from... Okay, so this is still using the old style. Before I decided to get rid of this. So this should be publish, which will automatically wrap everything instead of a payload. By the way, off the top I decided to build a custom keyboard. I was looking at repos, found this weird thing. Oh no. What is it? It's in Chinese. That's good. Not secure. That's also very good. Don't know how to read any of this. Something kuai hua, something pan. What? So this is plate. I don't think this is kuai. I think this is hua though. I don't know this one. This is 健康. It's like healthy plate. What is this? Oh, this is just like an ergo docs. Oh no. Oh. Oh. That's cool. I see. I see. That is a really cool concept, yeah. Can't really read any of this. I think this is also in... Is this traditional? Is that why I can't read it? Is this a Taiwanese website? Juan Li Hua. I don't know this. But this is the name of the keyboard, I guess. Mega on. No, it's not on. This is the on character, but I don't know this one. Still don't know this one. Still don't know this one. 可以 I've seen this. Way. Don't know. Don't know. Something 意是自己喜欢的 something 的 something 和参手游戏 something 分本人 I don't know 公学 something about studying. So this is like for playing games, for studying. Don't know. 不同人不同 So you'll be different? Is that what it's saying? So you'll be different? I don't know this one. I don't know this one. Don't know this. That's, is that Yoshi? Games again? Yeah, 不会意外 something outside? Don't bring this outside? I don't know. Don't know this. 用中可 I don't know. I can't read any of it. It's a cool idea though. I don't know about, would it be more latent? Would there be more latency, I guess, if you're not directly soldered in? I don't know. I guess mine's not soldered in either. Stop the Mandarin massacre. Sorry. Photos are enough. I can translate it, kind of. I can kind of read it. I know enough words in it to kind of figure out what they're trying to say. Like, I think I was correct in the words I was able to read. Yeah, so there were things about studying, things about playing games. I think it was just listing use cases. The usual good stuff. Let's load in assets. Oh no. Trying to assign value of type object to a variable of type string. Okay, well, I guess I need to change this as well. So we can pull out the, this. So we can just say that this is now always a signal payload. This might break a few things though. Actually, most of this was, does this break the default duck? No, it doesn't. Okay, so it's only VRM where this is kind of broken. He's done it. Okay. And then here, this is actually where things get kind of cool, I guess. Like, this is actually how I set up a lot of the, the showreel stuff, which is why this also took forever. So we went into the debug console. You might notice that the lighting is kind of scuffed. So what we do instead is just directly do get tree. Yeah, so that's your tree. And we do get child 1. So that's your VRM. You can actually just lock the keys around and connect their connections, and then it'll all be passed to a microcontroller. QMK firmware will handle the rest. That's interesting, actually, yeah. You know what, that's it, yeah. About the magnet part? Yeah, or I suppose you don't even need the magnet part, but I guess that's almost like like typing on a breadboard at some point, right? Like having the nice plates like a plate mounted or gasket mounted keyboard is one of the pluses about buying a custom keyboard. Like I suppose, of course, you could always just hook everything up. You could wire everything up manually and not mount it on a real plate. But I think that's one of the things about buying a custom keyboard is that you have a nice plate attached to it. So get child, and I need to get child 0, get child 0, get child 1. So that's your spatial. Actually, no, we want to be one above that. So this should just be a viewport. All right. So hold on, check this out. We'll do var light is equal to, is it called a directional light? Yeah, it's called a directional light. Store var viewports, then viewports add child light. I think that's fine. He's done it. Lego parts are hard quality plastic. Yeah, but they are hard quality, but it's not the same as like a metal part, right? So like my current keyboard is it's plate mounted, but I know that gasket mounts have a different feel to them. Like it's not just about the switches, right? It's about how the switches are mounted on your board. Something like that. I guess if you want something that just works, and you want, all you care about is like the switch feel, not how the entire board presses down, right? I suppose if you're a really light typer, it doesn't matter what kind of plate mount you have. So I guess if you feel comfortable like typing on Cherry MX Reds, then I guess it doesn't matter. What's the translate function? It's translate offset. Vector 3, is it vector 3 back? I guess it's not. How do you make a directional light less strong? Light energy? So half? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. He's done it. It's just that easy. Just had to write like a few lines of code to set up the light correctly, and now it looks normal-ish. Maybe search for Lego parts that will contain one key switch and stitch them together with connection holes. Like, yeah, plexiglass backplate is hard and solid enough, easy to see and see. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think once we start getting into hardware fabrication, I'm out of my depth. I don't know too much about that. Yeah, look at that. All this required was a few lines of code. So this is what I need to do in the actual script instead of configuring this via a debug console. But you gotta admit, the debug console, pretty useful, pretty useful. And you even can, you can hold on to this stuff like that. Look at that. So initially the light wasn't even here, but now it is here. How cool, how cool. And I think I can hit it with a light hue free, and then you'll see how it's actually looking right now. So light hue free, that's how it looks normally. But then we can do light is equal to directional. Can I do this? I've actually never tried. This might be invalid though. Yeah, okay. So viewports. Okay, yeah, I'm probably throwing a ton of errors now. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. Something is really weird here now. Anyways, let's close the program. Oh, geez. This is in the REPL. So left operand of is was already free. That's fine. Did we hard crash? We did leak, which is unfortunate. Does this still leak? No. Oh, you know, I don't know actually. Why did we leak there? Is it just for like VRM models are just leaky for whatever reason? So the only thing that's really missing here is one, it's not hooked up. So, well, maybe it's fine, I don't know. There's no light, and I also need to auto A-pose, and I think this is good to go. And also, okay, yeah. It's only when you use the debug console that it leaks memory, I think. So that's fine. I mean, it makes sense that the debug console will leak memory anyways. I think I also saw something scroll past. No, we're still fine. Cool. Okay. So what am I looking for? Where is it? VRM. So VRM, we do need to... We need to run all of the regular setup steps, but then also add a light to the scene. Oh, you know what? This doesn't add... This doesn't add a light to the scene either. All right, well, that would explain a lot. And then these should pull from to do pull settings from config. So lights energy is equal to, I don't know, half. Oh, do I never add the... No, this is added correctly, yes, because you'd never add the environment directly to your... Well, you don't add the environment resource directly. You need to either wrap it in a world environment or just add it to the viewport, which I did here. Model viewport world is equal to this world. Yeah. So here, though, I guess model viewport, add child, lights, and then we do need to light, translate. Well, maybe I don't need to translate it at all. If it's just a big light, it doesn't really matter. Or if it's a directional light, it doesn't really matter, I should say. Yeah, because it'll look the same no matter what. Although you should have the ability to turn it off. So we load in this, assets, VRM model. It's very bright. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay, I guess, yeah. I forgot that was the one thing I was missing, is I forgot to add the light into the scene. Yeah, that's fine though. All right, so what other things do I need to do? I need to make the light configurable somewhere. But it'll probably be in props, I suppose, as one of the options. So VRM, how did I do the hand stuff before? So we'll look at the previous tag, 8.1. Was it in screens? Model display screen. I feel like it wasn't in here. So this is what I'm looking at. Where's A pose? I remember I did A pose at some point. It was one of these though. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was in the GUI, and that's why it was such a pain, because everything was split up in kind of a nonsensical fashion. Or was A posing actually one of the completely external files? Oh no. Was it here? Oh, it was here. Yeah, okay. That reminds me, that's where it was. Model loaded A pose. A pose element. No, that's just the A pose element though. Oh no, this is not related whatsoever? But then how is that connected? Right, because this maps back to model.xml. A pose, events is A pose model, so who catches that? Is it the model? Oh, I called it entities here. Oh, and then there's some sort of connection here called A pose model, maybe not. Hey. Who's listening for this? Who was it? Was it you? Base model? No. Was it you in the GUI? Bring me back. Screens, GUI. I'm looking for it. Yeah, it was here on A pose model A pose. Yep. See, that's why that's why this is a little hard to work with, is because I think I stuck at way too many things in the GUI, which I think is still fairly valid, but you know. A pose. Okay. All right. So this is going to be fun. Actually, I think I can just take this stuff, but I should put it on the VRM script instead. Okay, so let's see. These all have VRM model. Send resources. So I'm building the entire thing. So it's pretty much everything is configured as a mod, if that makes any sense. Which means I also have to go through the pain of looking through all the mod files. Okay. Oh, okay, there is a pose. Oh, it's still here. Neat. So here we can just do a pose. Yeah, something like that. So then I think that's all you need to do. I still need to expose the button, but it should be fine, I think. So assets. Oop. Nope. Non-existent function find bone in base nil. Oh, it's because it's a I see. Oh, and it's also not ooh. Oh no. Oh, that was weird. The entire window froze for like a second, or multiple seconds, because I was mashing the close window button. All right, but I see what I need to do here. So I can't do it here because it needs to be added to the scene first. But let me see. So in default runner, we add it here. So maybe in the like the post setup. Yeah, I don't have a post setup step, so that's easy. Post setup scene. Or do I even have a post setup scene? Runner trait. I do have a post setup scene, okay. Very convenient for situations like this. There we go. Give me another try. VRM. I guess it was a problem saving or something. I don't know. Interesting. Oh, because it's not. There's no logger yet either. And it's also not saving anything. And I'm also not able to. Hello? Hello? Okay. But doesn't it get added to the scene? Oh, these are all after ready, so they don't get readied up until... Gotta think. You gotta think. Or maybe just VRM models should auto A-pose themselves, so that should be part of their ready script. You know what? That's 100% correct. I don't know why that was even a question. Yeah, there we go. Like, why would you ever not want to A-pose, I suppose? So load the model, go into assets, VRM models, VRM. Yeah, there we go. That looks natural, very... Oh, geez. Wow, okay, wow. Wow. Look at that. I think the rotation's a bit backwards though, but that's fine. How fancy. Okay. Anyways, go back to the main menu. I wonder why this is not inheriting this function though. So default has a generate preview step that's not being called for whatever reason. Or is that something I need to add specifically? I don't think I need to add that. Yeah, default runner, generate preview, runner traits, tear down. Yeah, we should always be generating a preview. Or do I need to do this, which is a bit weird? Hello, hello. Model movement is pretty good, isn't it? Also possible in this application, but we're getting around to it. I'm trying to get something out so people can start testing. And we're pretty close. We're pretty close. I just need to iron out a few oddities, such as why there's no preview, and also why this is not saving, I guess. So we get out of that. Yeah, so it should be generating a preview, but it doesn't generate any preview. But it does reload the same model in, which is a bit weird. Yeah, so if we move you here, still no... Oh. What? What? Hold on. Is there a problem with... runner previews? Does this one not have a name? So are these two things sharing the same preview? I don't think they are. And also it's not saving the configuration properly, but yeah. How are you? Hey, Neko. Are you enjoying Golden Archipelago? I think there's a bit too much pointless dialogue for my taste. IMO. But maybe that's me. Like, I don't mind filler dialogue as long as I can skip past it if once I finish reading it. I wonder though. Let's keep an eye on this. So we finished saving data, then we go back. It's not quite correct. We jump out of here. Then we can look at epupper export. So this is it, yeah. So is this saving it properly? Yeah, so this is the transform. The origin is correct. Model transform, yeah, that's fine. Oh, and that's fine as well. Because I still have not added a default model to load yet. So it'll take a bit, and then they should load in here, but it's not true. So this will update, maybe. Maybe it won't. Just gotta click a few times, I suppose. I need to have like a force save config button. Because for whatever reason, this is not saving. These presets are all correct as well. I think I can actually do this, and that should just work if I'm thinking about the application correctly. Yeah, so that's fine. And then this is also fine. Takes a little bit. But it's not saving the... It's not saving where I leave them. Which is weird. I can switch back to the duck. Oh, is this... No, that's correct, yeah. ASDF is centered. You should be askew, but you're not. Yeah, so there's something weird going on. With specifically... this thing. Oh, it doesn't have a head bone either. Really? There's no head bone? And also the the preview image is wrong. Alright, so load this in. That's fine. So no head bone found according to the logs. No head bone found. Weird. So where does that come from? No head bone found. I actually don't know. Where does this log message come from? No head bone found? I think this is a puppet trait thing, actually. Yeah. Sapphire bone, head bone. So it runs through the base setup functions first. Then does all the skeleton stuff. And then you... Oh, I see. That's why it's kind of borked, actually. I see. So I need to update this to use the newer API that I came up with. Okay, I see. So VRM model. Let's add a note for next time. Left off. fixing VRM. Needs to use new Puppet traits API. Don't save this. Okay, cool. Then there's not really anything to push at this point. Well, that's not true. What is the diff? Okay, let's git restore the gut config because the test config doesn't need the change. I feel like I should, I don't know, like after I add it once, just add it to the git ignore so, you know, the initial configuration is good enough, never updated otherwise. Oh, what else changed? Yeah, so we changed that, that's fine. Setup scene, that's also fine. Generate preview, it's not working how I think it works. Yeah, there's a few changes. Yeah, we'll keep that for later. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time working on this again. Thanks for tuning in and all that. You've been given the channel follow already. I highly encourage you to do so. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. Let me see if my bot is still running. There's a Discord if you want to join that. You can find my GitHub here. You can find this application. Let me see. Yeah, there's the GitHub for it. Look at that. Amazing. It is beautiful. Anyways, that's going to be it for me for today. I'm tired. And I need to wake up early tomorrow. So yeah. Take it easy. Goodbye.